Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Coach Martin. We're super excited about today's show. Not only about the show today, but we have a special guest, Evelyn Jordan. Evelyn, we are super pumped. I'm happy to have you on. I cannot wait to hear all your info and to share it with all the listeners that are out there. But Evelyn, let's start like this. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So why don't you start this way? Tell us a little about yourself.
A little bit about me, who I am, because it's such a broad question. I am an entrepreneur. I am working on building things. I am a girl who loves Jesus. And so I try to incorporate that and him into my businesses.
Yeah. I love that. I'm a believer that I think that everyone, some people it's a little bit deeper, but, the Bible says that, God's a creator and we were made in his image. And I think that it's really in all of us. Now, some of us, it's more like bubbling out and ready to come out, but some of us, it's a little deeper. But I love the fact that it's there, and I love that's kind of what you do and what you're all about, and we're excited. So why don't you tell us a little about what you do and about your business?
So I own a firearms training company, but that's not just it. So what I really do, though, is I help people. I teach them how to shoot. I teach them how to be proficient with the tools that they have and to build confidence in doing so. By default, because I'm a woman, a lot of my clients that have come to me, and a lot of students have been women, and I find it more often with women versus men that they are fearful. Maybe there is some past abuse or trauma, and there's things that surround using a gun that they are timid of. And so usually there's a little bit more we have to work through.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing this?
Oh my goodness. So being a firearms instructor, almost 3 years, a little bit less than that.
Okay.
It started when I got my concealed carry permit about 6 years ago. I got my permit and I continued training because I realized there was a lot I did not know and a lot I needed to learn. And I had an opportunity to get certified as a pistol instructor through the NRA nearly 3 years ago, but I didn't do a whole lot with it right away. And then I got certified again through the USCCA. And then at that point, that's when things really started moving forward.
Okay. Awesome. So you've been doing it for a little over 6 years. Mm-hmm. So what was your inspiration? Like, what inspired you to start, like, not just doing it for yourself, but like, hey, let me open this up and teach other people how to do it?
So after I got certified through the USCCA, I posted on my Instagram, seriously, posted on my story one day, and I said, hey, I'm an instructor. And within the next hour, I had probably 5 or 6 girlfriends reach out to me. Wow. And they said, hey, I need your help. I don't want to sign up with some guy. I don't know. I'm intimidated, or my husband can't do it. He won't be patient. I need you. And I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I already had a heart for teaching and training, just something that I enjoy doing, and I've done in other aspects in the past. Mm-hmm. So already enjoyed that. I saw the need for more women firearm instructors. I was getting approached by people, and so all of these different things are happening at once. And I decided, okay, I'm going to move forward with this. I'm going to start a company. I'm going to help people, primarily women, not to say that I don't teach men, but women sometimes need a little bit different instruction and sometimes by somebody else versus a man or other than a man.
Yeah.
So really, I posted one day, and people just started coming out of nowhere. It was the coolest thing.
That's super neat.
Yeah.
I like that. So this might be a little bit of a strange question. So can you think of one story that just, it could even have been from 6 years ago when you started, but one that just kind of stands out in your head of, and you don't have to like go into the details of name and whatnot, but like one story you could share with the audience about something that stands out.
So something that stands out. So this happened not too long ago. I was working with a group of girls. We had a basic handgun class. So we were covering all the fundamentals. One of the ladies that came, she brought one of her own guns. I always say, if you own handguns, bring them to class. I want to help you learn what you already have. Mm-hmm. So she brought a Glock 34, which is a full-size gun. And I'm like, okay, great. So once we got to the range and we started shooting, I started her off with a 22, right? small caliber, little to no recoil. So started her off there. And then I asked her, I said, are you ready to shoot your gun? And she said, yes. She shot it once, and this lady was trembling. She was scared. She was nervous. I said, you need to put your gun down? Yes. I said, so I took it from her. I said, are you okay? And she's breathing, and she was just having a rough time with it. And so backtrack a little bit before, when we were doing the classroom portion, before we got to the range, she said that that's the gun she bought probably a decade ago, hadn't shot it. The guy at the store told her, hey, this is the gun for you. This is going to be the perfect gun. So when we're at the range, she's in tears just about. Her eyes are getting, glossy, and she's upset. And she said, but the guy told me this was the gun for me, that this was the best gun. And I looked at her, I said, he lied to you. I said, that guy sold you a gun that he wanted to sell, or maybe he really likes it without realizing it wasn't the best option for you. Maybe it was something that his manager or his higher-ups are telling him to push. They needed to get rid of that inventory. Could have been anything. The point is that that's not your gun. Mm-hmm. It's your gun, but that's not your gun here, because you're not ready for that. And she was like, yeah, and she just had a really, really hard time wrapping her head around the fact that somebody would sell her something that she wasn't ready for, that wasn't going to do her the best good at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I think that happens sometimes with these big box stores and stuff like that. Anyway, she was really upset. So I go, okay, well, do you want to keep shooting? Because I'll push them, but not super hard. Depending on where they're at, I can kind of, read them. And she goes, yeah, I do. So I handed her the 22 back. She shot a full mag of that, and she looked at me, and she had the biggest smile on her face. She's like, oh, I love this. She goes, I want to get one of these. I go, okay, so now you know. That's your gun. That one over there is not. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that story, just walking her through it, getting her to continue to shoot, and then even though there was some dips, we ended on a really high note. At the end of the day, she had a great time. She texted me later, thanked me, and all that good stuff. So
that's a good story.
Yeah.
I would even say, too, what I was thinking when you were talking about it is, let's say you weren't there, and let's just say she happened to go to the range with friends. Ooh, yeah. She took her Glock 34, which I get it. I do. One of my guns is a Glock 34, so I know exactly what that gun is. And then she shoots it one time. Now she's scared, terrified. She ain't never shooting that gun again.
No.
So it's going to do her no good. Exactly. And if she ever had to use it, she's going to be terrified. So I'd say your service is a lot more like, hands-on than just, push them in and then push them out.
Exactly. I mean? Very hands-on. They're not just a number.
Correct.
I want them to reach out to me in the future if they need anything or have questions. I don't want to run you through a basic handgun class and then never see you again. That is not what I want at all. Because we all know it takes more than just one time to learn anything. Yeah. It's a perishable skill like anything else, like playing sports. You can't go to one baseball practice a year and think you're going to be good.
Why not? Why
I don't know. Crazy.
It doesn't happen that way. So this question, I love this question. I think about it a lot with me too. And I'm like, oh yeah, I think this is super important. But so think about, do you have one, maybe principal or mentor or both that has kind of been like, huge in your 6-year journey?
Yes. So I have an answer to all of that. So one of the things is putting my clients, my students first, right? Servant leadership. So it's not about what I can get out of it, but how I'm serving them and how to get them what they need. Mm-hmm. So that's one principle that actually took me a long time to learn. So before this, I was in the network marketing space, and I would have a conversation with somebody or see them and be like, in my head, oh, they need this product. Oh, they can use it. Oh, they could probably want to do the business. But that's not true every time. And so with doing network marketing, I learned about building relationships, building rapport, asking the right questions, seeing if they really need your product, and then how to help them and move forward with that. So I actually took a lot from way back when, and it took me years to learn that and to really get it down. And so I think that aspect of it, and the whole servant leadership part. And then the other part of your question, mentor, Jim Bellinger. So he is a training counselor in Corona. And he is, if you wanted to become an instructor, he's the guy that you would go see. You have to be he's a trainer that teaches the trainers. So that's what he does. I got a few of my certifications through him. He's a wonderful instructor. He is one of my favorite people, and I call him my mentor. And so one thing that he taught me too was always give the student more than they expect. And so that's something that I always try to do as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
Wisdom right there.
Smart guy.
Yeah. So do you remember the movie, this was going way back. Remember Back to the Future?
Yes, but I haven't watched it in a long time.
Okay, so Back in the Future, they would get in this DeLorean, and they would travel through time, right? So if we were able to get in a DeLorean, and you were to go back, and you would go back to, let's say, when you were 18 years old. So what advice would you now, so Evelyn today, give Evelyn as an 18-year-old, what advice would you give you? One piece of advice.
I would say I probably would have told myself to keep learning back then. Because after high school, I went to college for a little bit, dropped out. I was a server for a long time. It was hard to get out of that, great shifts, great money, cash money every day. But I wasn't doing anything here or here. I wasn't learning. I wasn't progressing. So I probably would tell younger me to keep learning, take classes, keep reading, keep expanding in that way. So it took me, there was some years where I was doing that, and then I got into the entrepreneur world, and then the self-development and all that kind of stuff kick-started. I would have started that a long time ago.
That's so good. So everyone that, you're listening right now on this podcast, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to concur with what she's saying. Here's the deal. The more you learn, the more you earn. And I'm talking about self-development. I'm not just talking about going to school. I'm talking about self-development. So that was definitely some words of wisdom. So Evelyn, if you had one question for me, what would it be?
All right. What is one piece of advice you would give to somebody like me who is in the midst of their, growing their business and all that? I have a foundation, still have a long ways to go, still have a lot of goals I want to attain. But what would you say to somebody like me?
Yeah, so good question. I would always start from the end and then go backwards, right? So what is the ultimate goal? And I would get hyper-focused on what that is. So not just like, well, yeah, I want to serve more clients. Okay, I get it, right? But let's be hyper-focused. So like as an example, if you were to, wave your wand and see what your business is going to look like in 30 years, what would that look like? I would write that down. And then I would reverse engineer, right? Let's say as an example, your goal is to, I'm just going to throw it out there. We haven't talked about this. But let's say you have a goal of getting to like 50 locations. Or let's say you have a numeric goal where you want to get to 50 million a year. I would say, right, you write it down, but who do you have to be that guy or girl that's making 50 million a year? Or who do you got to be the guy or the girl that's running 50 locations? You know what I mean? And then that is just through development. It's through learning and it's going through things, but you want to develop and you want to constantly be around. Like surround yourself with people that know more than you. Yeah. If you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room.
100%.
So like surround yourself. And I'm not saying like, hold on a minute. I don't want to get emails saying, hey, Coach Martin said I had to get rid of all my friends. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you might have to get rid of some of them because you got to put people around you that are going to like push you, get you seeing things bigger. So those are two things I definitely would do. I'd reverse engineer. Finally, the third thing I would do is all your disciplines and habits and your benchmarks that you put in place, make sure they're measurable. So put them up on the wall. Even if you do like a month by month and then a year, make them measurable and then start accomplishing them and check them off. That's important. I do a thing with my children every year during Christmas, and they're all grown adults. We bring them up here and we do goal setting. And the very first year, they, put stuff on the board, and it was like, well, I want to be fit. Well, that's not measurable. Like, you know what I mean? So now to the point where I don't have to do that anymore. Now they do measurable goals, and we're going to accomplish them. So I think that's where I would tell you, I would give anyone that type of advice. Start at the end, reverse engineer, and figure out who do you got to be, and then what do you got to do.
That's good.
So I like it. So so as people are listening right now, I'm a big believer that everyone alive that's an adult should attend your course. I know that at least, personally for us, we had a situation where my mother, who's in her 70s, was attacked just going to the mailbox, and she was, viciously attacked. And you think like this can never happen, but that's kind of foolish because it could happen, right? We're living in a fallen world. So I would say like if you're listening and they want to learn more about you, they want to like connect with you, like have a conversation with you, like find out, hey, what do I got to do next? Where do they go?
I would say Instagram,
Okay.
probably. You can go to my website, firedupfirearmstraining.com. On my website, there is my email address, and there's links to Facebook and Instagram. I would follow me there, send me a message. Instagram would probably be the easiest one for me to see those messages coming through. And people do. They'll send me messages, hey, I've been thinking about X, Y, and Z, and I'll ask them a couple questions. Where are they at right now? How much experience do you have? Because I need to know, do they need step 1? Do they need that course? Or can they kind of go to step 2? But anyway, I would say reach out on Instagram.
I love it. So what we'll do as well is we'll go ahead and put your info on our site as well.
Okay.
So if you go to the CoachMartinShow.com, which you should be going, you'll be able to go to her information. We'll also put a link there that'll take you straight over to your website as well. And I'm going to encourage you to go to the website, share it with your friends, share it with your family. Even if you're thinking that this isn't for you, trust me, you got people in your sphere that it is for them. So we're going to encourage you to share, and share again. Evelyn, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, this is Coach Martin, and this is Evelyn, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys and seeing you next time. Take care.